Ernest Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. Almost called you by your first name. um, we were supposed to go live yesterday and I couldn't. So we're doing our best to kind of go live today to run some things by you. Before I start, did you want to say something?
No, I want to say, the same old, as we are assets and arbitrage. We want to always be continue to be stacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stacking satoshis, stacking ounces. That's
Right.
what we. That's what we're about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just we're trying to be laser focused on this type of stuff, And but what's going on with I am a very my family might call me cheap, but I'm a frugal person. Frugal. I like to save some money here and there. And when I save the money, I like to take the excess that we have saved to stack extra satoshis and ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is this is rolls into here. So there are some promotions out here that may appear to be a way that you can save.
Mm-hmm.
But everything isn't always what it appears to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to talk about today. So let's talk about these promotions that are saving people money.
So this is supposedly National Cheeseburger. I don't know if it's Cheeseburger Day or Cheeseburger Week. And Wendy's has 1 cent burgers. Burger King has free burgers, and Dairy Queen, I believe, has $1 hamburgers. Now,
Oh,
y'all, let me tell you something. When corporations give anything away virtually for free, when inflation has been the highest it's ever been, your spidey senses should be tingling in your stomach. Do not, I repeat, do not participate in the overconsumption. Okay? It's very, very dangerous. Wait, babies. Kids are outside playing, y'all. Just don't worry about them. um, so I do want to share this with you. I want you guys tonight, when you get a chance, your homework is to Google the Simpson episode with burger zombies. Okay? So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the episode since I can't show it. The television anchorman is broadcasting. The Simpsons are in their living room, and the television anchorman is in front of a restaurant called Burger Square. So burger two with the like exponent number two, Burger Square. Who has square burgers? Wendy's.
mm.
So the broadcaster goes on to tell you how they're able to have such cheap hamburgers. They have the cow, they grind it up, they feed it to a cow, grind that cow up, feed it to another cow, and then it's served on a 7 grain bun.
Mm.
The TV anchor proceeds to take a bite of the hamburger and turns into a zombie. He eats, what is the clown's name? I can't remember the clown's
Oh,
name.
not Krusty. Krusty the
Krusty.
Clown. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
Krusty the
Krusty.
Clown. He ends
Mhm.
up biting Krusty the Clown. Krusty the Clown turns into a zombie, and then everybody else turns into zombies. Now, I told y'all last week I wasn't sure what the October 4th emergency broadcast test was going to be about. But in the event that something is wrong with these burgers, right? I'm not saying that we're going to turn into Day of the Dead zombies or the Walking Dead zombies. We don't know what that really is going to look like, what type of emergency or crisis it could create. Because keep in mind, if Wendy's is offering a 1 cent burger, that means they want you to consume, consume, consume. You can literally buy 100 Wendy's hamburgers. I don't know if they have a limit on it, but the fact that it's a cent and the fact that Burger King is giving their burgers away and the Dairy Queen is giving their expensive burgers away for $1 all week long from today until Thursday, right? This is when these promotions are taking place. The fact that they're doing that is they are pandering to America's overconsumption of food. Then they waited, and I want y'all to peep this because National Burger Day was in May, right? I don't even know. They know that people don't keep up with those things. Why'd you have a second one in September? My question, and it's not really a question, the rhetorical question is, Why did you wait till inflation was the highest it's been all year to give stuff away literally for free? To give your product away for free. And I think it's a junior bacon cheeseburger.
Mm-hmm.
That's for a penny, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
No, but the thing is, she's really talking about consumption. These lower prices will allow you to consume more, right? Um, Whether they are doing something with the product or they're just trying to bring more traffic into their
They're doing something to the product though.
yeah, bring more traffic into their into their their place was Wendy's, was Burger King's, Dairy
Wendy,
Queen.
Burger King, Dairy Queen. Now, keep in mind, right? Let's say they do have a limit. Let's say you can only get 10 burgers at a time. Because I didn't see any limit. So y'all tell me if there's a limit if y'all seen one. You can go from there's a Wendy's literally like in every maybe 5 blocks or
Yeah,
whatever in
yeah.
the United States. So you can just go from Wendy's to Wendy's to Wendy's to Wendy's to Wendy's to Wendy's. And y'all know those burgers don't even spoil, right? We've seen mucho videos of people having burgers, leaving it in the box for 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 days, and the burger is in impeccable condition, right? That's a problem just under normal circumstances. We're giving away these burgers, and in what, Masamento's 2 weeks,
Yep.
we're looking at a nationwide emergency broadcast. This will be the 7th one in history. Keep in mind, Maui burnt down and there was nothing, right? There was not one alarm, not one alert, nothing. So do not participate in this overconsumption. And this is why for the last, 5 or 6 shows, Simon and I keep telling you guys, find ways to train your body
Yep.
to not consume with the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? To really set yourself apart from the world. Call family members, tell friends. We as Black people, let's talk about it for real. We ain't supposed to be participating in these system-like things anyway, right? They are already trying to get rid of us. Gonna open that program up to everybody. So do not participate in whatever this National Cheeseburger Week situation is. Stay very far away from it. Stay alert. Keep watch. Right? Start being suspicious. When you see stuff like that, it's too good to be true. It is. They're not trying to save you money because they don't care about you.
Not at
So
all.
this isn't, oh, we're just trying to give the average Joe a break since inflation is the highest it's ever been, and we want to reward you with unlimited cheeseburgers.
Right, and like I said, I wanted to bring it back. Like she was talking about, people will look for ways to save money, and this appears
Pills.
it appears to be a way to save money, but like she said, be wary of it, and we would say stay
not
away from it.
participate
Don't
in it, y'all.
participate in it. And you know that, and that's something that was going on this week, and we really wanted to talk about that and get it out there, as far as just kind of keep an eye on what's going on, and try to just be strategic
Yeah.
about what you have to do, and stuff like that. I understand. Money is tight. You see something like that, like, oh, this is a good way save a couple bucks, but just be careful.
I'm
Be
gonna
very careful.
tell you too. I brought up the Simpsons thing because we all know that the Simpsons have been on par, on point with predictions, sometimes down to the exact outfit, right? They had the Simpsons prediction in 2016 when Lisa was running for president. Kamala wore the same exact outfit when she ran for vice president.
Mm-hmm.
When she was inaugurated, actually, not when she ran, but when she was inaugurated.
Yes, indeed.
So I brought the Simpsons situation up because it surely did say burger squared on that thing, and we know that square burgers are at Wendy's. Now they're giving their burgers away for a penny. I'm not saying that the process that the Simpsons introduced is what they did, right? I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that. That could be the comedic part of the TV show. But we know when we talk about predictive programming, we understand that spiritually they have to give you the truth with a lie. And a lot of times it's the truth with the lie laid over in some comedy, right? So you don't take it seriously. Don't participate in the systems of this world. Leave
Right.
that alone. Call your family members, friends. really talk to young people, because young people, that is going to appeal to them anyway, because kids love cheeseburgers, teenagers and stuff like that. Tell them absolutely not, we are not touching this with a 10-foot pole. And to be honest, just because they're going to need burgers in excess, I wouldn't eat at any of those burger chains for a long time, right? Because when this week is over, they're still going to have those products
They still
on
will.
hand and stuff like that. Start cooking. Go to the supermarket, buy food, cook. If you don't know how to cook, YouTube it, right? They have
Yeah.
all of these great recipes.
So and that's a great point that she made there, because when you're talking about saving money, when you cook, it is a lot cheaper than
Mhm.
going out to eat. I know people don't have families or stuff like that. If it's just a single person, it may be a little bit harder to cook, and I understand that. But still, keep it in mind. Keep it in mind, because you can cook and you can make great value. I mean, unfortunately, we cook every day. We have a large family.
Mhm.
We go out to eat uh,
Every so
every
often,
so
but
often, maybe on a special occasion, something like that. But we tend to cook every day, so that it's just easier. It's just easier,
and I'm the type of mama who gonna cook
Yeah,
anyway.
she gonna cook, so she gonna cook, and she gonna knock it out the
Two,
park.
it's a way to control the ingredients in the food as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you go out, you don't know what they're putting in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gentleman, shout out to Parabolic P. He said, did they put the CV in? I don't know. I don't know what's in it, but I know corporations don't give away anything without an agenda,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
And again, National Cheeseburger Day or whatever that is was in May. So why y'all do a second one in September, right? All of those things have me like, yeah, this ain't right. And we as a community should not partake, right?
And
I don't think anybody should. Don't matter what community you part of. Nobody should participate in this corporation. And look, it's not just Wendy's. It's Wendy's. It's Burger King. It's Dairy. They're all in on it. No.
yeah, and also what you were saying about cooking, as far as you can control the ingredients, you can also the energy that goes into cooking.
This is true.
So there's an energy that goes into cooking. Like if you love cooking, you love cooking for your family and things like that. That energy goes into the food,
That you're consuming.
right? That you're consuming, right? Because you don't know what energy somebody has that's cooking for you when you go out to eat.
Mm-mm.
And it might not be a foul energy against you,
Mhm.
but maybe they're in a bad mood. Maybe they had a bad day, something like that. Maybe
Mhm.
they're struggling and stressed out.
Maybe they hate their job.
Maybe they hate their job.
Like,
This is the energy that's going into the food that they're cooking for you.
mhm.
So, when mom cooks
Mhm.
for us, it's good, healthy, loving
Mhm.
energy that's going into our
Mom
food,
gonna trim the fat off of that chicken.
no
She's
matter what
gonna,
happens.
right. There's a
So,
other thing. I'm not in a rush to feed a whole bunch of people, so
right.
stuff isn't rushed.
Yeah, and I cook for the family too. I'm cold with it. I don't want to pat myself on the back. I'm cold with it.
But everybody in this house can cook.
Yeah, and I put great energy into it.
Yeah.
Great loving energy as a father, as a husband.
Mhm.
I put that energy into the food. Kids receive the food, and they
Mhm.
also receive that energy.
That love.
So there you go, great, that love. So
Mhm.
that's great to cook at home. And also saves you some money,
Mhm.
where you can now go back, like I said at the beginning,
Mhm.
stacking extra money that you can put into your reserves that you are building up, and it's great. It is a great thing to do. And so I don't know. Did you want to
Yeah, I
keep
just
what's
wanted
there?
to shout out people
Okay,
in the
shout
room.
yeah the
We
people.
want to shout out Bam, right? Y'all need to check Bam out. I keep telling y'all that.
Hey,
Y'all
what's
need
up,
to
man?
check out his videos. Bam and his beautiful wife. They do like organic chicken. So when Bam say that's 100, he's explaining the love and the care that they put into those chickens before you consume those chickens. They're not just breaking the chickens up and running them through the mill and whatever it is that they do with the chickens before they throw it in a styrofoam case, wrap some saran wrap around it, and sell it to you and your family.
Yeah, yeah,
So definitely check out Bam
yeah. Bam,
on
bam.
Facebook. Bam, I don't know. Do you have a YouTube page? Like when I watch your stuff, is that YouTube? I usually watch it through Facebook, but just put in the chat like, hey, it's both Facebook and YouTube, and
Yeah.
they can search for Bam
Yeah,
Hardrick
Bam, man. Shout out to Bam, man. I
and
know.
his family.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Bam, the big homie. You know, we got love for you, man. I see your Cowboys doing their thing yesterday. We got to throw that in there. So shout out, got love for the Cowboys, man. You know, so it looks good,
Bengals ain't doing that good. That's why he's shouting
Well,
out the
yeah,
Cowboys.
well, yeah.
Well, let's not get distracted. I want to shout out Leon Champani. I hope I said that right, Leon. I'm so sorry. He said the first hit is free, the next one will cost you. And that's just it. All of these hits are free. It's the consequence of the hit that you're really gonna pay, right? And we don't know what that is. And I told you my spidey senses are tingling because I told you last week what is the emergency broadcast about in October 4th, right? Why did the CDC update their zombie preparedness what is it called, a zombie preparedness like planner
Yep.
PDF on their website about 2 or 3 weeks ago? What did you do that for? Then I sat and I watched. When you watch Congress on C-SPAN, as boring as it is, you get a lot of jewels there if you just sit through some of the boringness of it, right?
Yep.
And this is when we talk about patience as a virtue.
Yes.
We get so used to TikTok videos that are 2 minutes to 10 minutes long. Sometimes it does require you to sit and watch something for about an hour and a half, and you'd be like, oh, yeah, y'all told me all the truth in this thing. When the gentleman was reading the bill, and y'all like search this stuff for yourself. When the gentleman was reading the bill, it got so bad that he kept saying, this is classified, this is classified. And then at one point he said, in the event that like we have like a zombie apocalypse or something like that, classified, classified, classified. Jesus Christ, classified, classified. You can see the fear in his face reading a bill he really can't even read because half of it's classified, right? But they had to pass the funding for it.
Yes.
So y'all check that out. It's an easy Google search. Also get used to using other things besides Google, right? Like DuckDuckGo. Don't use Bing because y'all know who owns that. And you know he's trying to kill us. So don't use that. But get used to using DuckDuckGo. Bam said cooking also gives time to build with your kids on their day. Fast food, fast conversations. But like we said, all of our children know how to cook. We teach cooking for real, right? Kitchen prep. The children know how to properly kitchen prep, not contaminate items depending on what we're cooking or what we're preparing or what we're putting away. They know how to dice certain things and certain julienne, cubed, right? They understand how to do these things down to the 12-year-old. And then our 6-year-old, he only peels garlic.
Garlic, yeah.
That's it,
his
y'all.
job,
He
Karen.
peels garlic, but he does cut up plantain. So he knows how to cut the plantain up for mommy when she cooks it.
So yeah, like we said, cooking is a great way to save so that you can all stack, and it's also a great way, like Bam said,
Quality time with family.
Quality time with the family. Get back to the how people used to have the Sunday dinners and stuff like that. Big family Sunday dinner. You used to see it in movies. What was that?
Like, yeah.
Soul food and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they have
the
the big Sunday dinners.
Everybody has a Sunday
And
dinner.
we try to do that every Saturday, right? We keep the Sabbath, so we try to keep that every Saturday.
She's a Sabbath person.
We're
so
taking the Sabbath
yeah,
back
so
because they shouldn't have changed it to begin
Yeah.
with. Bam. Okay. So I want y'all to check out. I want y'all to go on Facebook when y'all get a chance and Google Bam Hardrick. Bam, put your whole name in the chat so they can have it and just look at some of the adventures they have with the organic chickens that they have. They do a great job explaining the things that they do. They're a beautiful Black family, so definitely support that.
Yeah.
He's not asking for no money or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Just support him by watching his stuff.
Yeah, support that brother and his beautiful family, as she said. I mean, that brother is, yeah, man. That's a top-notch type of people that you need to build community with. You know, we talk about community a lot, right? And you can build community digitally, and you guys know that. But he's somebody that you can bring into your digital community, right? And continue to build with. So yeah, check that good brother out and his family.
There's also a scene in I think it's They Clone Tyrone, that new Jamie Foxx thing, where they're sitting in a fast food restaurant and everybody gets real sick. So you can check out those clips too. I would call it like the fast food restaurant scene or something. Everybody gets real sick. They start to convulse real badly.
Oh, that's bad.
I didn't watch They Clone Tyrone, but I tell you, we are watching these movies. Instead of sitting back passively, we need to watch it like, okay, what y'all up to now? Right?
Yeah.
You want to watch it really with intention, and with the intention and understanding how best to prepare yourself and your family, and not for entertainment.
It's always about preparedness, right?
Mhm.
And we have these people, we call them the doomsday preppers, but we can be prepared as well. So it's something that we just wanted to bring to you in that regard, as far as the thing that something looks too good to be true. You got to be careful with it, right?
Absolutely.
Got to be careful with that.
So that brings us to our next point.
Uh-oh. What's our next point?
So I was telling you the other day, and we had a long conversation about it.
Okay.
I sat and I watched I watched a montage of TikTokers. They
Mm.
were all women, right? It was about 7 or 8 of them. They were all women. And it was a montage of all 7 women saying the same thing. A lot of them were crying in the video. And they were saying, this is the most money they've ever made, ever, right? And we're talking $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year. And they were all crying, like literally crying. You could see sorrow, you can see grief, that they were barely making it. They were barely making ends meet. They were barely able to pay their bills, and no one could seem to figure it out.
Mm. So, yes, I did not see the video. She spoke to me about it, and we talked. We talked
Extensively.
we talked extensively about what the women were saying. They had numbers. They put their numbers out there. Over 6 figures, high 2 figures, 80, 90,000.
Hmm.
And it seems like, man, that's the number we can get to, and we'll be doing well. That's what it seems like. That's what people think in their mind. And we did a show about this, but I'll bring it back up. There's a chart. I do not have it now, but there's a chart so where you can rate adjust things, right? So you have an even line that's what they say 100%, 100% even line. Cities like Austin, Dallas, Houston, Charlotte, places like that, where the even line, where if you make $100,000, it's $100,000,
Hmm.
and then you could rate adjust it moving up, right? So the top city, of course, was New York City, and then LA, those kind of places. So, but New York City will be up, 2 times the rate. So if you make $100,000 in New York City,
It spends like,
it spends like 40 or 50,000.
right.
And so people get stuck on these numbers, like, oh man, I make 80,000. But where do you make 80,000 at?
Hmm.
If you make 80,000 in San Francisco, man, that's tough. You're gonna struggle,
Right.
right? You make $80,000 in, I don't know, Toledo, Ohio, then you're doing very,
Pretty
very
well.
well.
Hmm.
So you got to understand these rate adjustments of the numbers, because the city will take the money back.
Hmm.
It will take the money back.
And your lifestyle, a lot of times, will
Yeah,
take the
lifestyle.
money back.
Yeah, I mean, stuff that you can do in New York City, you got to go out and eat. You go get some wings and a beer or something, and it might be $50. Where if you did that in a rate adjusted city, it
Toledo.
might be 20, 25. So you get beat up, and the money gets called back, but the money really gets called back in rent or mortgage, right?
Hmm.
Because if you live in New York City, you go
Oh, car note, and car insurance.
car insurance. They said the average car note is right about $800. That's a lot. And then your rent, well, I don't know. Where do you live?
Yeah. Yep.
Where do you live? You
Yep.
live in
And rent's
DC?
the highest it's ever been.
It's ever been. It's crazy. The rent is crazy, and if you're not renting, if you decide to buy and stuff like that, your mortgage is gonna be stiff. And so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Don't focus on the number. Everybody was talking about, and I'll keep bringing this up. Everybody's talking about over a time period about people making 6 figures and whatnot. But you make 6 figures where?
Right.
Right, where?
Hmm. But that number is climbing all over the continental United States and in other countries as well.
It is.
So let me ask y'all in the chat room, who want to jump down the rabbit hole with me?
Uh-oh. Um,
I'm gonna see who want to jump down this rabbit hole, and if
Oh.
nobody want to jump down the rabbit hole, then I'm gonna move on to the next thing.
What you about to do?
Take them on where it's actually going and
On
why
journey.
stuff looks the way it looks. You just start putting the dots together.
Putting-
But I'm gonna wait to see if anybody in the chat says, "Yeah, I want to go down the rabbit hole." But if nobody does, in about 5-6 seconds, I'm gonna move on to the next thing.
Okay. I want to go to. I mean, I want to hear what
You want to go down the rabbit hole? Okay, we'll take him wanting to go down the rabbit hole, y'all. So, rent's the highest it's ever been. And Parabolic B is like, yeah, I want to go down that rabbit hole. So rent's the highest it's ever been.
Mhm.
Car notes are out of control, right? Keep in mind, right, the technology to make cars is a lot cheaper than it was back in the day. So it makes you say, I get that the processor might be more expensive and stuff like that, but the technology is cheaper. That's why, little teeny tiny, I call them basic cars, have all of those amenities in it because the technology is cheap. So why are the car notes highest they've ever been? Car insurance, forget it. House insurance, let's talk about the homeowners. A home that would have been about $150,000 years ago is now $500,000, right?
Yeah, pushing up. Yeah, pushing up.
$500,000, $750,000, and I'm like, that's a 3-4 bedroom home in the middle of nowhere. What do you mean? Like, this house is almost $1 million. They're blowing the market up so high, right? And just living, that when they bring to you the solution of a smart city, you know what we're going to do for you guys? We're going to build this luxurious building with all of the amenities in it. It's going to be a smart building, right? So your door will be like a hotel door. You just wave your key over it. You can talk to the lights, like on or whatever it is in order to control the lights, the electricity, your television, so on and so forth. You'll have a nice fridge. They're going to put all of the bells and whistles on your brand new Supermax. And you know what they're baby stepping people towards? Because what they're doing is they're stressing people out so much and just maintaining their lifestyle, right? Roof over your head, food in your stomach, clothes on your body, clothes for your children, so on and so forth.
Yep.
That when they hand you the solution of that beautiful, luxurious Supermax, people are going to go willingly.
They're gonna go willingly. They're gonna go willingly, and also, I mean, I don't know if we talk about this a lot, but we still always got to talk about the school to prison pipeline. So, this is a thing where the schools are, I wouldn't say luxurious, but they're very nice. They're very nice, but they have a prison-like feel, but they're nice. You have nice, you have things, you have amenities, you got computers, you have all these things. So the school is
Our
nice.
prison has computer lab too, but go ahead.
Yep. So you got computers, you got a library, you got all this stuff you go through, and it's a school to prison pipeline, right? Either you're gonna get in order and go with the smart cities, or you're gonna go to prison. I'm talking about for us. You already know what I'm talking about. And so, you get out, you go through school, you end up going through college. It's very nice. You live in a dorm room, you're getting ready, you get out,
Military, dorm room,
you
right?
get out, you graduate, you go to a smart city. Doesn't seem so bad.
When you've been doing it since kindergarten.
Yep, doesn't seem
Now,
so bad.
when we lived in Florida, right, and this is one of the reasons why we left as well. The developers who developed the prisons in Florida also developed the schools. So when you go up to the school, that same boop, the tone is now not for the factory conditioning, it is for the prison conditioning, right? You can go, you can't go. You can do this, you can't do this. But now, and we completely missed this because the smart cities have always been part of the World Economic Forum plan. It's just that now those plans are public. Now we have access in the age of information to see what y'all have been up to since the 50s, right? And that's why I told you, watch the Jetsons. They've been stair-stepping you since the late 60s on smart cities because they had that plan all along. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. There's a Danish politician, and in 2016, he wrote an essay. This Danish politician's name is Ida Auken, Auken. And he wrote an essay for the World Economic Forum in 2016 that says, people, and this is what he's positing, people will be happy owning nothing. right?
Mm.
People think that being rich and having mansions and yachts and the Maybach and what else do celebrities have in excess? You know, you got a
Jewelry.
wig vault, you got
Yeah,
jewelry
you know,
vault, you got
stuff like
clothing vault,
that.
you have storage containers, you only wear an outfit once. He posits that, and these are very rich people talking, right? They think that we, the people, would be happy when we own nothing.
Yeah.
Not everyone, right? This speculation isn't for them, the elites. It's the peasants, the people,
Peasants, right?
right? People are going to be happier by owning nothing, right? And I want y'all to go and check that out because that is a slogan you're going to start to hear. You're going to keep hearing
Yeah.
it. They keep trying to hide it and twist it and turn it. No, no, no. That's not the goal. That's not our stated goals. But understand that right now, for the smart city, you have to own an electric vehicle. How many Americans own electric vehicles versus how many Americans don't?
Yes.
Two.
Percentage is low.
Question two. The United States, for the most part, especially how many cities, babe?
I'm sorry.
You said black people live in.
Okay, so this is from our good brother Neely Fuller Jr.
Mhm.
will say, and you get check me because the numbers will move. Um, uh, Black people live in and or around 82%, no, 10 cities.
10 majors. 82% of black people live in
Live in
10 major cities.
10 major cities,
Let's just,
in or around,
yeah,
in that tri-state
let's go
area.
with the 10 major cities, right?
Mhm.
I want to ask if you can name any one of the 10 major cities, where are they going to build that smart city?
Yeah, that's a question.
Then I want you to ask yourself, with all of the recent flooding and wildfires,
Yeah.
is that going to happen in any one of these cities to create the land in order to build the infrastructure, in order to lure the people in, right? That's why I want y'all to get y'all spidey senses jumping.
And this, yeah, and this is the thing because I didn't know if you needed to speak on
Mm-mm.
these people. Okay,
I
but
will in a minute. I'll shout out in a minute.
go ahead.
Oh, we want to shout out the Colonel, Crazy Bronx Don. Hey, family. Thank
Shout
you so
out
much for
Colonel.
joining us. That's a real Colonel, y'all. I
Colonel,
salute.
full bird,
That's a
full
real
bird.
Colonel. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so yeah, respect to that, to the Colonel. Yeah, but what she was saying about smart cities and things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
owning nothing. So remember that because that's important about still stacking your Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
and your ounces because you still own your Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because how is Bitcoin taxed?
Like property.
It's taxed like property. So you own property when you have Bitcoin. I don't care how many Satoshis you own property. You have property in cyberspace. So you own something. They try to take away all the things that you own. You stack your silver and your gold. You own that. You own that. You remember all the old cartoons or stuff like that. They find a what do you call it?
Okay.
Of gold and silver.
Like they call it it's booty.
Yeah.
But you find the treasure chest.
Treasure chest full of gold and silver. So when you keep stacking your ounces,
Mhm.
you own that. You
Yeah.
own that. You own that. They can't take that from you. They'll try.
And
They'll
we're going to
try.
talk about that in a second.
They will try, but they can't take it from you if done properly, right?
Right.
So keep that in mind because it's about them not wanting you to own anything and have to find certain things that you can own. Property, man, I know people love real estate and property and owning a home and this and that, but man, it's a lot
Right
of
now,
stuff.
it has a huge counterparty risk,
Thank
multiple
you.
counterparty risks.
Thank
So I'm
you.
going to say this as well. Let's ask the question.
Mm.
You'll own nothing and be happy. And again, this was an essay, right? So they wanted to posit it in a way where this was just conjecture, it's just a conversation they were having. But when you look at the smart city, if I live in a smart city where I can only drive 15 minutes away and I don't have an electric car, what happens to do I sell it to buy an electric car? Are you going to buy the house that I currently have a mortgage on? What happens to the things that I own? Let me
Yeah.
take you down a deeper rabbit hole.
Can I
Go
say
ahead,
one thing?
yes.
Just want to say one thing because what you were talking about, the electric cars, is very
Mhm.
important because um, people will see this as a situation where, well, what's going to happen to me? and we're sometimes we're older people.
Right.
But what the game is, and they're rolling out this game and this information to younger people. So yeah, what happens to your car, I don't know, but the younger person will just get
Ride share.
a ride share, but they'll get an electric car just because that's what they get, because it's coming up and that's what they told you to get.
No.
And so it'll just go over time because they're dealing with the younger people, and the people that they're actually targeting is the younger people. I mean, I did a show a long time ago, and people got at me a little bit, but they were saying that some people, older people, 40s, 50s, 60s, as the people who are in charge, they don't care about those people. They care about the young people. They try to get your children.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're like, man, I'm not going for this, I'm not going for that, it's not even a big deal to them.
They'll wait till your generation die off, or they'll kill off that generation,
Tell them,
right?
ain't that
Because
what
you'll be more susceptible to the new viruses.
tell them about Moses. What did he do?
Yes. So
Tell them.
in Exodus,
Tell them.
the Hebrews were in captivity, right?
Yes, they were.
And God said, you know what? I'm going to release them from the captivity of the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys know about the 7 plagues. There was a lot of back and forth. Finally, they get released, right? They go into the wilderness. But the older generations kept looking back at, when we were in Egypt, we got onions. We're out in the wilderness, and this beef doesn't have any seasoning. You could just imagine what the complaints are. Back in Egypt, I had the most beautiful garments, and I only got this one outfit now because we had to leave in a hurry when we ran from Pharaoh. You could imagine the amount of complaints they got from that older generation. So you know what God did? He wandered them around the desert for 2 generations, and when they died off, then he took them to the promised land.
Yes.
The enemy's going to use that same tactic, right?
Yep.
You guys are going to fight us. You're going to protest. You're going to call the governor's phone, to infinity. You're going to do all these things. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you free hamburgers because your immune system's not going to be able.
Yeah, we're going to wait you out.
Right, we're going to wait you out. And all of the things that they're going to do in order to, like I call, sort the wheat from the tares as far as they're concerned.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do whatever they need to do to get the next generation to do what they want to. Now, they've already been stepping. If we're Generation X, Sean and Reggie would be Generation Z, I guess.
Millennial, and then Reggie.
Millennial.
He's Generation Z.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the millennials and Generation Z have already been practicing, and we talked about this on multiple shows, minimalism. They don't want to own a house. It's too much responsibility. Right? They would rather have an efficiency apartment where they could just do what they need to do, go about their business. Yeah. They don't care about owning a car. It's too expensive.
And you watch this stuff, if you catch on YouTube and stuff, people do this weird thing. I mean, I shouldn't call it weird, but they do this thing that's like van life. They live in vans, stuff like that, couch surfing, this stuff. They don't think like we think, like getting a house, having a family, living in one place.
They don't even want to get married, a lot of them, or have children.
The important thing to know about that is these people who we look at like, oh, these millennials and Gen Zs, these people are going to come to power, in the next 20 years. These are going to be your congressmen, your mayors. No, they have to be. Somebody has to be. Somebody has to be.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah, so
their kids will do it.
These people, this is going to be the police chief, the fire chief, all these people who are young that we see like, oh man, this is kids are going to come to power. And so we have to get comfortable with that. As we get older, somebody's going to have to be the chief cardiac surgeon, who we might now look at as a silly millennial or something, but they'll end up being these type of people who have power or some kind of.
But they're going to handpick them. I'm telling you that now.
But even certain
people they can control.
Certain people they can control, but these people will become power.
You do have to replace the old people, right?
Let's shout out the big homies.
So the Colonel said, I went 3 hours without verification of Bitcoin purchases. I'm about to take you down this rabbit hole.
Uh-oh.
Connectivity issues is what I was told. Okay, cool. Or is it something I need to prepare for in the future? Most likely alt exchanges. Yes. I'm side-eyeing the exchanges because it's so, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, he's right. You're having trouble with connectivity issues, and they want to, like you said, take 3 hours to verify your purchase. So that's why we also are big on precious metals, where you can go ahead and get that purchase, get that bag, you know, and just put it away. Because, like he said, if you start having connectivity issues, network issues, stuff like we say over here in Mexico, we have problems with the.
But is it by accident or is it on purpose? Is really what we're
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
right.
Get you something physical also, so that you can hold in your hand, put in your house, put in the basement, hide it wherever you need to go. Because when you're trying to get Bitcoin and you're having these type of problems, you know, it is worrisome to me. Worrisome to me. So,
How many of you were aware that was it PayPal or Cash App? I want to say it was Cash App was completely down one day.
yeah.
Right? So we're looking at, because you have to now look at these things, no matter how beautifully they're dressed, as corporations. And y'all are all in bed together. I don't know who really owns you. I know who you say owns you, but I don't know who really owns you as a corporation.
True.
Now, Parabolic P wants to go all the way into this rabbit hole, and we're going to do that. Bitcoin came into our lives. It had always, in a sense, it always existed. But we discovered it, and it was like, right? It was the answer, it was the solution, right? And once that technology really brought to, I'm going to say the elites, when it really brought to the elites' attention that there is a way to have honest transactions that you cannot hide, right? You cannot confiscate, you cannot manipulate. That scared the crap out of them. Okay? So what do? I cannot remember the name of this network, and it's driving me crazy. It was a network we used to have it, Simon, and then I think we sold it. It's gonna drive me crazy. I can't remember the name of the network. Yeah.
We sold it.
But it had a coin, it had a token to it. But the network, we believed in the network part.
Okay.
So we sat and we watched. I'm hoping it comes to me while I'm talking to you guys.
Okay.
We sat and we watched this great documentary on the guy who created the network. And his vision was tokenization of everything, to have everything on the blockchain, property, and you can put anything on the blockchain in order to have transparent, honest transaction. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna drive me crazy on the network that had this vision. Grizz was the one who told us about it. It's gonna drive me nuts.
Shout out to the chief.
Anyway, so what God meant for good, the elites are going to try to figure out a way to jailbreak, as I like to say, right? So what do? They say, you know what? We want to implement tokenization as well, right? So they're dressing it up now as far as property. Everything has to be tokenized. This is what they're trying to implement. Everything has to be tokenized. Your house, your car, likely, right? Your precious metals, likely things of value that you own. That way, if you want to exchange anything, there's no more black market, there's no more bartering, right? They have access to see every single transaction you make. And they have the power to really, when you think about it, if they can see everything, they can block stuff too if they want to. All of a sudden, you've got this house worth all of this money that's been tokenized, and now it's not on the blockchain at all. Well, how can I sell it? I put it on the blockchain. It was on here. I did this. I did everything you told me to do, and it completely disappears off the blockchain. These are the nightmares and the horrors that we're looking at as they take the technology that we as a community really, really rallied for and use it against us. Right? Because they'll have access to the blockchain. They'll have access to hack, manipulate. They have supercomputers we don't have access to in order to gain the outcomes that they want. And again, at the end of the day, the game is about control. Yep. It's why they want to wipe out the middle class. They don't want an in-between between wealth and poverty. They just want one or the other.
Yeah, and you'll see that in other countries. If you get to travel and you get to do the knowledge of these other countries, you will see the middle class has been collapsed, and it's not here in other countries.
But you can see it in the United States. You see it right now with
You
how
see it,
many homes are being lost and stuff like
but you see
that.
it. There's still suburbs and stuff. But I'm telling you, get out here.
But they're seeing the process of the
Yeah, yeah.
collapsing
But
of the middle
if you get
class.
out here in these other countries, it's already collapsed. There is no really middle class in some of these countries. I haven't been to all 200 plus countries,
Right.
but been to a lot of countries, and the middle class is shaky, and if not to none, right?
Right. They're barely treading above water.
Yep. And so, and that's what they're doing in the United States, collapsing that middle class. And, that's just, you just got to be aware of that,
Right.
because what they keep telling you about the things you're supposed to do, you grow up, you go to high school, you go to
Mm-hmm.
college, you're supposed to buy a house, have a
Mm-hmm.
family, all this stuff, white picket fence.
Right.
But,
That's changing.
yeah, but yeah, it's changing. And one of the big things that makes it change is that those college debt. And like we said, earlier, not today, but in another show, Black women are the most enrolled and as educated in the United States, but they are the most in debt
Yes, there are.
because they have the debt of the colleges. Yes, it's fine if you have a master's degree, PhD, that these things, but
Now they
that
did roll
sits on
out
you.
the forgiveness, right?
But
So I think
yeah,
I think it's still
it might be helping people,
in the works.
but it's parameters. Remember,
There are
There's
parameters, but it's
parameters.
still a lot of money, and some of these people will get some of that burden off of them. But you gave me that. You gave me that with your right hand? What did you take with the left?
Right. All right,
Right.
hit with the left. Let's see what's the shout out, man. Shout out to the
Um,
homies.
the Colonel said I need a Zoom session with y'all
Okay.
sometime in the future. I have so many questions. Yes, I know I'm running through stuff fast, but I'm running through stuff too because I really want to pique your curiosity to look into the things that I come across all day long, every day.
Yeah, and what you have to also remember, for us, we are remote and not in the United States,
Right.
so we go over.
In
Oh,
abundance, we have to
yeah,
because I don't have
yeah.
access
We don't have access to
to the
people.
propaganda you guys have access to.
And also, we don't have access to the things that you may go through daily with
Yeah.
the people in the United States.
Right.
We don't have access to that. We don't
Right.
encounter these people.
Right.
So we really go through these articles and see what's going
Mm-hmm.
on to bring it to you.
And it's a lot of vetting too.
But oh yes, it's a lot of vetting. So, but you as a person on, we would say boots on the ground, let us know things that you go through because you're
That we
there
may miss
and we may miss.
and need to share. So I want to talk to you guys more about the tokenization because what they're going to do is they're going to dangle this
I'll give
in
you one
front.
minute.
Oh, you need to go somewhere?
Yeah, I'm just go over here check on it. They're making noise. But go ahead.
Oh, the kids are outside playing. He's just going to check on them. The two little ones are outside playing, and the puppy's out there acting up, y'all. Somebody come get her. I want to talk to you guys about the tokenization because they're going to dangle it in front of communities that are going to welcome it with open arms because it's already something they're familiar with. It's already a solution in their minds, right? And again, when I talk about World War III in my mind, it's not going to be war between nations. It's going to be a war against them in our minds. It's going to be a psyop, right? Which is basically a psychological operation. So we really want to, that's interesting, Simon.
Okay.
The
Hey.
viewers jumped and I thought that was weird. But it's going to be a psychological operation against the mind. So when they tell you something, I'm asking all of these questions because I really want to um I want to motivate and inspire you to ask a lot of critical questions so that you can be aware, you can be vigilant as to what this is. They really want to use tokenization. And again, when we talk about the tokenization, it's something that they're looking at, right? It's something that they're trying to implement. It's something that, it still has to go through certain checks and balances in order to go through. But just understand when you start hearing about it, they want to use tokenization as a big brother tool, right? To be able to see and monitor everything that's going on. How are they going to hand you this package? They're going to say, hey, wouldn't it be great if you can deliver a product or a service, right? And the person can be paid simultaneously, like all at one time? Wouldn't it be great that if you saw a lawnmower was for sale, which you're not going to be able to have because it goes against the carbon credits thing, but the lawnmower on sale isn't being rehypothecated. I don't know how many of you remember people would sell stuff on Craigslist, and they done sold that thing to like 6 people, and there was actually no product to begin with. So they're going to tell you like tokenization of property is
Yeah.
going to be the solution to transparency in transactions that keeps everyone honest. And then you say, if that's the case, why do you want it, right? Because that's not even how y'all roll. So it's going to be a way to see really who owns what. And if something needs to be appropriated or misappropriated, understand that if they can see it, there is the opportunity for that, which now creates what we call counterparty risks, right? If the objective is to not own anything because I live in an apartment and my social credits only let me do A, B, and C, right? Then where are the things that I own gonna go?
Yeah, and that's a good thing, I mean, if it happens that way, and it looks like it might, that's why you have to own some other things that maybe aren't tangible. I mean, like we said, the Bitcoin, right?
Which can go in a nano wallet that they can't really have access
with
to.
no counterparty risk.
Right.
No
But
counterparty.
exchanges are huge counterparty risks, right? I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys watch The Kings. The Kings. If you guys watch The Gentleman of Crypto, shout out to King Bless, shout out to Bitcoin Zay. Trying to get it all out.
Shout out to the gods.
Right? They mentioned that FTX settled with the NFL. Why did I bring that up? Because these new crypto platforms and exchanges, we don't know what their backdoor dealings are. We just don't know, right? And crypto has gone from the integrity of Bitcoin to rug pulls, scams, that Sam Bankman Friedman or whatever his name is. I can't even tell you how much money he misappropriated and used. So we have to be vigilant with everything now.
Yeah, and that's why we always use as a hedge when we talk about precious metal, because this is things that you can have in your possession,
Right.
right? And you can have this in your possession if you purchase some gold or some silver, this, that, and the third, those rug pulls, right? You're gonna have to
Right.
deal with you're gonna have to deal with the cartel who moves the price up and down, right?
Chase Bank.
And you have to deal with that. That's part of the game, but you still have something tangible that you can have to yourself, and you can also barter with
If need be.
if times get that bad and need be.
And before the tokenization of it, right? Because
Yeah,
once
because
tokenization is comprehensive,
mhm.
you won't have the ability to really barter it. Maybe you
No,
can. I
no,
don't
but
know.
no, because what she's talking about is people buying and having it in the custody of the I guess a distributor. What would you call it?
The exchange, actually.
Exchange. And so if they have custody of it, then it's kind of shaky. But you want to have a little bit
Just something.
something
And then we could
physical.
figure out what to do from there,
Yeah,
right?
physical. So because everything's going off the rails pretty soon, y'all,
Mhm.
and we just bringing it to you.
We're
But
doing all we
yeah,
can.
she got the information, she got the game.
Let Freedom Ring. Thank you so much for joining us. Let Freedom Ring's been with us for a very long time,
Yeah,
y'all.
that Freedom Rings a big
Oh my
homie.
God, I'm talking like single digit shows.
Yeah,
So
he's a
thank
big
you so
homie.
much. He said, wipe out the middle class. Totally agrees because you guys are seeing that in real time.
Mhm.
So we really want to start watching out for, like I said, the buzzwords, tokenization, transparency.
Yeah.
You know good and well when they start talking about transparency, they talking to you like this and the other hand's behind their back, right? I'm showing you both hands. No, don't gaslight me. You showing me one hand. So we want to keep those things in mind when we talk about the exchanges. I want you guys to see the exchanges right now as counterparty risks.
Counterparty risk. And I tell you, I mean, I have transparency. Of course, I listen to Gentlemen of Crypto, the big homies and stuff like that. And I had some Ethereum over on BlockFi.
Oh yeah.
So I can get some percentage. They send me a little, what do you call it?
And we did well on BlockFi for a long
Yeah.
time.
And then BlockFi got shut down, and my Ethereum is locked up over
Yeah,
there.
we still have some
And you know
Ethereum
what I'm
locked up.
saying? The people told you don't leave your stuff on the exchange. I was,
I think we just forgot about it because
I
we
mean,
have
I,
so
was- I
much
was
stuff.
being, yeah, I was being like, I want my, what do you call it?
The interest,
I want the interest.
the dividends.
I want the interest and dividends, and I left it on BlockFi. Now it's locked up over there. So I'm still waiting for my Ethereum to be freed up.
Right.
But you know, that's
Counterparty
just a
risk.
story. Like, you know, we tell you the real about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge counterparty risk.
I mean, we made a lot of money with BlockFi, so you take the good with the bad.
Take the good
But
with the
I'm
bad.
just saying, like, walking forward, when you start looking at every major corporation in the United States and a lot of, I'm going to say, medium-sized corporations, they're all owned by 6 different companies, which belongs to 13 families. Very small numbers, right? When we talk about the wealth in the United States, very small numbers. There's really 2,600 million billion, and when I say million, I'm talking about high millions, like 500 million or more, closer to billions. 2,600 million billionaires in the United States. Very small number in comparison to however many 100 million Americans there are, right? How many Americans are there in the U.S.?
I thought 330, the number changed.
330 million. Let's say 350 million, right? Because we got the migrants now, and we have the immigrants there and stuff, and sanctuary cities are taking care of them. I'm going to count them in this particular census. 2,600 people pulling the strings, really, right? And a lot of them aren't even pulling the strings, right? Probably half of them have access to even be part of string pulling, right? Because a lot of the string pulling is from other nations. The World Economic Forum is in full swing, okay, in New York City. They started yesterday, right, at the end of the Feast of Trumpets. Those of y'all do y'all research. When do government entities and nationals meet on a Sunday? Anyway, they're going to be meeting this week.
Trumpets are.
The Feast of Trumpets is a Jewish holiday many of you may be familiar with. It is basically a celebration that Christ took very seriously. Next week is Yom Kippur.
What's the Feast of Trumpets called?
The Feast of Trumpets was Rosh Hashanah, and I think next week is Yom Kippur. Hopefully, I don't have that backwards.
I think it might be, but either way.
I might have it backwards, but this was the Feast of Trumpets, and they made it a point to meet the day after Sabbath. Why? Like government entities meet Monday through Friday. Why are you meeting on Sunday?
But what it is, though, you know, like she said, if you go with the old school, Sabbath is Saturday. So Sunday is when you counter it in real life, it's the first day of the week.
Right.
Even though people are used to Monday being the first day of the week, when you do it with Sabbath on Saturday, Sunday is the first day of the week. Sunday to Sunday. Right? We're trying to make it Sunday to Sunday. Right? So yeah, I can see that.
Two, I'm bringing it up that they met on a Sunday because I want you guys to start looking at Sunday law, right? Little by little, our freedoms are being taken away from us, right? Yes, this is assets, this is arbitrage, but understand that your freedom and independence is clearly tied to your wealth, right? The more wealth you have, the more freedom and independence you have, the more of the wealth they are able to suck out of you one way or the other, the less freedom and independence that you are going to enjoy. So I bring that up because I want y'all to start looking at Sunday law that they're looking at, right? Because if they start impeding on your religious freedoms, if they start impeding on how far you're allowed to go during the day, if they start impeding on how often you can wash laundry or do how much caloric intake you're allowed to have. For those of you who love beef, fish, steak, chicken, lobster, crab, if they start saying like, you know, the carbon emissions are really high when it comes to animals, so you guys are now vegans.
Yeah, check out the homies out here.
This is the Colonel. He said, I think last Friday was Rosh Hashanah. Yes, so it's going to be Friday through Sunday, the Feast of Trumpets, right? Always on the Sabbath. And the Sabbath ends in the evening. So Saturday evening would have been the end of the Feast of Trumpets. But, right, we know that government officials don't meet on the weekends. So what y'all doing? Ask questions. Start looking at stuff and say, that look weird. And what you're doing is strange. And I want to know what's really going on.
Yeah, and you have to, you have to do stuff like that. She's talking about the law.
The Sunday law?
Huh?
The Sunday law?
Yeah, the Sunday law as you put it together,
Mm-hmm.
and people have to understand that. Get familiar with the law and the words, right? Because words mean things, right?
It's a spell.
It's a spell, so you got to be words. I always tell people, if possible, get yourself a Black
Laws
Laws
Dictionary.
dictionary.
Oh, yes. They're
If
expensive, but worth it.
they're expensive, but if you can get one and kind of go through it, I mean, it's dry. It's dry. I tell you that right now. It's dry. It's a hard read.
When they say things,
But
you'll know exactly what they mean because
exactly.
that's where they're getting it. That's really their grimoire. That's their. For those of you who don't know what a grimoire is, it's a book witches use in order to do incantations and conjurings.
Yes.
The Black's Law Dictionary, that's their spell book,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we can do a whole nother show on that one day, but and it's probably gonna come up sooner than we like. But we just want to, because all these things are related, right? We started talking about the 1 cent Wendy's and the emergency broadcast on the 4th. We still don't know why they're doing that, but this is just about 2 weeks away. So let's keep an eye on that. Then we talked about, well, the reason they want to appeal to your nature with 1 cent burgers is because inflation is the highest it's ever been. I can't afford rent, can't afford my car note, can't afford insurance. I'm going to just mention this now because it's coming up in my mind, but people in California won't be able to get homeowners insurance. It's just too much stuff going on, and the insurance companies don't want to pay it out. That's one. Two, if you can get homeowners insurance, it's over $6,000 a year. That's $500+ a month, right? So it's like, just in case something happens, and then counterparty risk. If something big enough happens, the corporations are okay with the insurance company not paying out the claims,
Yes.
right? They can say, wow, this was devastating. And even though all of you paid your premiums, if we paid all of you, we would go out of business. So we're not going to pay any of them.
What did I say? It's act of God, right?
And there's nothing we can do. So they've taken your money all year long. They're not going to pay out the claim. But you're at the point now where they're not giving out new policies.
Oh, that's pretty.
Right? And then you have to ask, well, you're an insurance company. If you're not giving out additional policies, means you're not getting premiums every month, how are you making money? And what's really going on with this?
Yeah.
Start asking those questions, right?
Right.
And a lot of these companies are owned by other companies, owned by other companies, owned by other companies. So they can remain solvent even though they're not fulfilling the use case that they present on the surface.
It's true. It's very true.
That's where shell companies come in and dead companies and this
Oh,
and that.
zombie
Right?
companies.
Zombie companies.
We should
right.
talk about zombie companies one day.
Right.
But
So, not today. that's a show by itself. But I want to bring all of the. That's my. Don't worry about
sorry.
that. Those are my personal messages. But I'm bringing all of this up because all of it, as wide and diverse as it feels, it's all connected right down to the tokenization of property. I also want to share something else with you guys because I don't know how many of you drive an electric vehicle. Do you know how much a battery for a Tesla electric vehicle costs when it doesn't work, shorts out, or catches fire? Does anybody in the chat know how much an electric vehicle, an electric battery for a Tesla vehicle costs? It's over $20,000 to replace, and guess who's not replacing it? Your insurance, right? It doesn't fall within a worthy claim, the parameters of an insurance claim. So you are absolutely being forced into ride sharing, right? And you want to go somewhere, you're going to go in a driverless electric vehicle, blah, 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 blah. Right? Smart city, I told you, even the street lights, send and gather information on every single step you make. Y'all remember that song? Every step I take, every breath you take, I'll be watching you. That's literally what they are trying to move to because it's all about being able to monitor and control every citizen. right? Because at the end of the day, we are the assets. And that's how you guys have to start seeing this as you're preparing. They are trying to turn us into the assets. It is our economic labor that they need in order to continue to get richer and richer and richer. And it's like, how rich do you need to be? You have $61 trillion under your investment company. How much more money do you need, right? So let me tell y'all about the spirit of greed. The spirit of greed is
Okay.
it's comprehensive consumption.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean? That means the spirit of greed will consume, 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 even to the point where it will consume itself and destroy itself. And that's why this is starting to get more and more and more and more out of control.
It is definitely, and I mean, I really like to hear about that consumption of greed. I mean, because that's like a baseline problem of what's going on.
That's the root, right? If you were looking for the root, why? It's greed, right? That's what the control is all about. It's greed. These corporations want more and more and more profits. They want more and more and more money. I sat and watched how, the inflation and everything is going up, but doesn't cost these companies any much more money to produce whatever the product is that they already produce.
Yeah.
So why are the numbers flying up like that?
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to the big homies.
The Colonel said this episode is heavy. I know I hate the doom and gloom episodes. I just want y'all to be prepared. Everyone needs knowledge on this one twice. Y'all are hitting home. A close friend's home is recently free and clear, but now all the insurance companies are giving her all kinds of excuses why they can't insure her. Yes, because something is coming, right? That's how I look at it. If the insurance companies are, think about it. You're saying no to multiple premiums monthly. That's y'all profit margin. And if you're saying we don't even want to take the money from y'all because we don't want to pay you out, something is coming. What is it?
What is it?
Right? And these are the things that should have spidey senses tingling. And she owns her home, so the premium should come down significantly because it's not going in escrow anymore. Now, I don't know if she lives in Hurricane Alley. I'm not sure where she lives, but even the taxes, right? The taxes on home, we own our home, and the taxes keep going up. It's the same house on the same property. Y'all ain't do nothing new to the street or nothing. Why is the taxes going up?
And the funny thing is, and I'll just tell you this as transparency, I did the math, across time, the taxes and HOA fees, right?
Oh God, those are going up.
What happens is, what you purchase the house for, you'll end up paying for the house every about 15 years with taxes and HOAs. So when you own it outright, it feels like, oh yeah, this is my house now.
But taxes and HOA.
Is it really? And because if you don't pay those, they'll put a lien.
They'll put a lien on the house, and now they own your house. But two, yes, the house does increase in equity and in value, right? But it increased in value so much I can't sell it to anybody. So
because nobody can afford it.
Because nobody can afford it.
There we go.
So you see that negative feedback loop, and then BlackRock will come and say, hey, we'll give you, for a quarter of what it's worth or some ridiculousness, right? Depending on how desperate you are. And you Google how much property BlackRock owns in the United States. Why do y'all own residential property? You don't rent it out. It's not like Airbnb. I could understand if they said Airbnb owns 42% of property in the United States. I could understand that because their business use case is to rent houses out, whether it's vacation, long-term rental, et cetera, et cetera. That's not BlackRock's, right? Why is that part of your portfolio? It doesn't make sense. But I'm sure it makes sense if we actually knew what they were actually doing. Right? And right now, it looks like what they're actually doing is buying up the property so they can create these smart cities. And then everybody's making profits but you. And we're getting to the point, the more Simon and I do the research and do the knowledge and do the math, right? It's getting harder and harder and harder to find the arbitrages because you're locked out, because you're not part of whatever these corporations have going on.
Yeah, she's right, because these arbitrages, they're getting very slim. Like, they were very large, I would say.
At one point, in order to find arbitrages for wealth transfer, I'm noticing that the market has multiple barriers and layers of barriers now, where you can't even be like, you know what, I see this opportunity right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get in with this investment group that's going to do this smart city. No, you're not, because you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, and like somebody had mentioned, I think was like last episode, and I will do it. The flag theory, like there was a theory of going out here planting flags in different countries,
In emerging markets, especially, and frontier markets.
And one of the biggest things was starting a bank account, which almost is impossible now.
Yep.
Unless you have a large amount of money. I'm talking about 5,000 and more. Large amount of money, then people will make some kind of
but that's
wage
also
for
a huge counterparty risk, because you don't know what country you're dealing with.
Yep.
And though you don't have the rights of an American in other countries, right? So if your money just go from 35,000 to 2,000, there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. Nothing you can do
if
about
the
it
country says, you know what, we're being destabilized and we need to appropriate these assets in order for us to do whatever we need to do to get stabilization, there's nothing you can do about it.
And so, and she's 100% right on that. That's why you have to do your due diligence. If you're going to come out and leave the country and try to plant flags, you have to have the information. You have to know who you're talking to. You have to understand, where your counterparty risk, right? If you're going out to another country, so you have to understand that. And it's getting tighter. The arbitrage is tightening.
And for those of you who've been watching BRICS activity, I want to make something very clear, and we made it clear last show, right? We watched the BRICS nations and BRICS Plus, right? There are 20 plus applicants who are going to be full-fledged members in January.
That's right.
We don't have any
okay,
new stuff, babe. And yet don't even bother with my notifications.
No.
My notifications are driving him crazy. But it looks like the BRICS are trying to do their own thing because they're pulling away from Western occupation, blah, 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 blah. That's what we thought. Everybody is at that World Economic Forum right now as we speak, right? South Africa is kissing the King of England's cheeks. How you doing? How's everything going? How's Harry? How's William, right? They're all in bed together. So don't get played by thinking that this is the show of, oh, they're about to do their own thing and create their own currency and fight against the establishment. No, they're not. It's all a show, right? When you look at their country websites and stuff, they have the same sustainable development goals just like the Western countries. So it's very important that as we're watching these things, lump them all together, right? This is a game. For those of you who understand spiritual warfare, know that unclean spirits run in a gang. They run in a gang. They don't run dolo, right? They run in a gang. So, and what they like to do is things look complex because it's just so many things going on simultaneously and they don't look like they're connected. They're always all connected, and actually all these little things create one big picture, right? It's like, they call it a pictograph. You remember that picture of Obama? It was a whole bunch of pictures of Obama that created one big picture of Obama. Yeah, it's just like that. So you have all of these things working, and some of them don't seem connected or don't seem like they have any relevancy, but they all create one big picture. And that is, how do we control the masses? How do we access their wealth? It's one big way to pillage and loot. Right? So for those of you who aren't big historian buffs, from the dawn of time, whenever there was a war, right, the winner always got spoils. That's what they would do. The spoils would be the women, the children, a lot of times, sometimes it's not. The women, the children, and whatever everyone in that city owned. That's why in the ancient times, cities used to have walls, like the Wall of Jericho, for those of y'all who went to Sunday school. Jerusalem had walls. All of these places in China got the Great Wall. But all of these different cities would have walls in order to fortify. We understand the Trojan horse. What did they need to do? They needed to get the horse through the walls, right, in order to attack and pillage.
And when she's talking about, I believe we mentioned it last time, but we'll keep mentioning it. Thucydides trap,
The
right?
Thucydides trap.
Right. So we talked about the fourth turning. I'll keep it quick. Talked about the fourth turning. Have 18 as its right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Okay. As they've seen it, 18 fourth turnings, 16 times there was a war.
16 times.
And
There's
so
only
we're
2
in the
times.
fourth turning right now.
Mm-hmm.
So is it going to be a war or
But
not?
just understand that the art of war, the strategy of war never changes, even if the model of war looks different.
Yep.
Right? And we're military, right? So we get a little crazy with this strategy and stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm glad Batman said Democrats are selling us out. I hate to tell you this, but the Democrats and the Republicans are the same quarter, right? One's heads, one's tail, but it's the same coin.
Yeah.
They're all in bed together. They go golfing together. They eat dinner together. They do everything as one, and they appear. It's all a show. They appear as though we're doing this and we're doing that, and we hate you. No, y'all don't, because y'all gonna go eat dinner together tonight.
Yeah. Like they say, it's two. What do you call it? Two wings of the same bird. Or
Two
something?
wings of the same bird,
Something
two
like
sides
that.
of the same coin.
Yeah.
They're absolutely the very same thing,
Yeah.
right? And they run in the same elite circles. They go to the same parties. It's like the boys and the girls, but they're still in the same class. Y'all are the same class, right? Y'all are made of the same material. You grew up the same way. You think the same way. And the strategy for y'all is the same, because the strategy at the end of the day isn't to help the people. It's how do we get as much as we can from the people so that we can enlarge our position financially for our legacies. They don't care about your legacies. It's about their own legacies.
No doubt, right? Hit out the people.
Batman said, vote Democrat, bring on the apocalypse. Vote either one. It's the same thing, right? Bam said, the Democrats and the Republicans. I like that. That was cute. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So we're not going to keep you guys. We're gonna. I read that, the Democrats.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're not going to keep you guys any longer. I don't want to give too much, because we do always want to give you homework so you can digest what we're saying and go kind of vet some things of your own.
Yeah.
While this feels provocative, it feels like conspiracy theories. It's not conspiracy theory anymore. It's just a conspiracy. This is how they're conspiring against you, right? That's all it is now. So definitely look up the elites wanting to tokenize property and use the blockchain for what purposes they're using it for. You definitely stay away from the Wendy's, Burger King, Dairy Queen. Stay away from any type of fast food, period, because we might miss it, right? If Little Caesar says we got pizzas for 25 cents, I might miss that, because we don't really have that here. So if you see that fast food companies are giving away large amount of food for almost nothing, do not participate in that system.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody assumes the next variant, y'all know what I'm saying, the next variant is going to look like this. You don't know how the next variant is going to be. It's going to be how the transmission of it is going to be.
Yep.
Right? And we don't know how they've modified it. There's a patent on it. If there's a patent on it, that means it was done in the lab. And if it was done in the lab, that means it's out to get the rest of us. So start practicing not over consuming. Start practicing fasting, dialing it back, so that when they do these things, you can fight against it. Talk to your family members, talk to your friends, coworkers. Slap that burger out her hand if you see her bring it on her lunch break. Like, baby, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Especially melanated people. Don't eat this stuff. And we'll talk about that another day. Yeah. The melanation and how melanin, how important it is.
The melanin, and we will also talk about fasting, how important that is.
Right. Because it's really a tool. We got to get back to that Bible. And I know that sounds crazy to people who don't believe in it, but honey, let me tell you, you can see that we are not wrestling against flesh and blood. We are wrestling against rulers, principalities, powers, and high places, right? These are not normal human beings we are dealing with. You can tell by how diabolical the things are that they do. Like, something's wrong with y'all. Y'all are not human. So chew on this show for now, right? No fast food for very, very, very cheap. Just kind of stay away from that. tokenization.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how much BlackRock owns, how much property they own. Start asking yourself questions about why, right? Is that how the smart city is going to come? Why aren't you guys insuring property anymore? How do you know there's something coming unless you're saying, yep, no, we're not taking another premium because we ain't going to pay nothing out? That means they know something we don't. And if they know something we don't, that means somebody has something to do with it and it's not an act of God.
Exactly.
And you got to
I don't know if it's-
prepare yourself. The colonel said amen because I said
Oh.
Ephesians 6. Put on the full armor of God, y'all. The full armor of God. Ephesians 6. Y'all look it up. Okay. Hi, PFC Wells. Unfortunately, we're about to leave, so you're going to have to catch the replay. PFC Wells has also been with us since single-digit shows,
he's the
y'all.
homie. That's the homie.
So single-digit shows, so we want to show you love because you guys have been great supporters. We just want to get this information out, right? Poor baby, he gets all of the, Simon, let me tell you what I saw, right? He gets that 2-3 hour thing, and then he helps me to refine it so that we can do a nice, clean show for you guys. Because it sounds crazy when I first have it, y'all. And I start, I got the crazy, the thread. Y'all know when y'all see those movies with the conspiracy theory, he got the thread from one postcard to the other, and this and that, and he's like, it's them. So that's how my brain works. No, it's PFC Wells.
Okay.
He said no problem. I appreciate it. So we love y'all. I'm watching the World Economic Forum. I hope to have some concrete stuff for y'all later on this week as more details. I don't have any details. They haven't said a word yet. And that's interesting. So I'm waiting for some of the developments to come out so that I can keep you guys up to date with that. We love y'all. Hope y'all have a great one. Bye. I never know how to end the stream. This button is always in different places. We love y'all. Bye.